Hello everyone, and welcome to Honkai. This is the first episode in my lore series where I'm going to be covering the lore of the entire story of Honkai, not just the story chapters, but chronicles, open world, anything I can find. To start off today, I'm going to be introducing some lore that is kinda left out at the beginning of the game, some info about our main characters and where they came from, and then we'll be jumping into the story of Chapter 1. If you would like to skip out on the extra lore and go straight to only what the game tells you, you can use the chapters down below to look at Chapter 1. To start off, let's answer a pretty basic question. What is the Honkai? The Honkai is a energy that has existed with the world as far as we know since the beginning of time. This energy seems to be working against civilization. It wants to eliminate civilization at all costs, causing plagues, natural disasters, and eventually animals and people to turn into monsters and zombies. This energy also can cause people, as far as we know only people, to become Hershers. Hershers are godlike beings that can defy the laws of physics, but we don't know that much about them yet. The first Hersher appeared in Berlin over 60 years before the beginning of the series, wiping out the entire city. This Hersher did eventually betray the Honkai, and taking some brilliant scientists from Schicksal, created their own organization, Anti-Entropy. The second Hersher was the result of experiments done by Schicksal in Siberia, wiping out millions and causing a huge Honkai war. Due to this war, many were orphaned, including some of our protagonists, such as Bronya. She has a bit of a dark past that we don't know much of yet, but she was eventually taken in by Anti-Entropy and experimented on. Now a cyborg, Bronya was saved by Mei in Nagazora, which, in Nagazora, is when the third Hersher was born, who was Mei herself. Her father was framed in some major crimes, and that led to her being bullied. The darkness and the hatred she felt, as well as some experiments that were performed on her afterwards, were what eventually led to her becoming a Hersher. She was, however, saved by Kiana. After coming back to her humanity and honestly hating herself for what she had caused, Kiana helped pull her back, and even promised that if she ever turned into a Hersher again, Kiana would just beat it right back up. The three of them wander Nagazora and are eventually taken in by the Far East branch, after having a bit of a fight with Murata Himiko, one of the lead Valkyries working at the Far East branch and also a teacher at Saint Freya, a school for Valkyries. The school is run by Teresa Apocalypse, who happens to be Kiana's aunt. The three girls study at this school and go on some minor missions over the next 2.5 years, as part of Squad 5, with Murata Himiko as their leader. And that leads us into the events of Chapter 1. The beginning of the chapter, we see Kiana coming in as a large ship, the Selene, is flying over Sapphire City. This ship is completely unmanned, and no one knows why it's there or what's controlling it. However, it does seem to have a large amount of Honkai around it, and so they want to stop the ship at all costs. The plan was for Squad 5 to enter from 3 points. Have each of the 3 young Valkyries enter at their own point, meet up inside, and try to stop the ship. After fighting a very powerful Honkai beast along the way, Kiana lands on the ship and runs straight to Mei, clearly not following the plan at all, even citing that it's been 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 38 seconds since she's seen her. It's kinda cute, but also you can see she's a little clingy with Mei. After being scolded by Himiko and Mei, the two end up having another encounter with the same Honkai beast that Kiana was fighting on the way here. They quickly find out that this Honkai beast is a lot stronger than Kiana expected it to be. Kiana nearly passes out exhausted, and in an act of desperation, Mei resorts to using some of her Hersher powers to save Kiana. You can hear alarms going off from her suit as she does this. Clearly, this is something she was not supposed to be doing. And after doing so, whether it's her suit trying to stop her or just this power being too much for her to control, she passes out after beating the beast, just as Bronya reunites with them as well. The three of them, with Kiana carrying May, fight their way through the ship. Bronya notes that the ship appears to be using anti-entropy tech, stuff that she recognizes from her time with anti-entropy. And worrying about May's condition, after they get a little bit into the ship, Bronya decides to try hacking a mech and using that to fight the rest of the way through, so that they don't have to risk their own health. While hacking this mech, Bronya gets a small spark of Honkai energy to her hand. She doesn't notice anything wrong with it, and just forgets about it for now. And then Kiana accidentally pushes the self-destruct button, destroying the only hacked mech they had, thankfully, just outside the control room. As they get into the control room, and Bronya takes a look at all the consoles, she very quickly realizes that this ship has almost no security. No passwords, no firewalls, except for one. She can't control the navigation. She does, however, find a letter. Reading the letter, it's addressed to Kiana, saying that the ship was a gift for her, that the password to the navigation system is Kiana's birthday, and also talks about how the ship, to be fully utilized, would require 4 gems. The translations are a little outdated, and not accurate to what we would say they are now, but the 4 gems mentioned are the Lightning of Conquest, the Fire of Haste, the Storm of Desire, and the Death of Serenity. Not much is said about these at this point, but they will become significant later in the story. After a little bit of bickering between the girls and Kiana not wanting to reveal her birthday or age, best friend May, who's recovered by this point, ends up just telling Bronya Kiana's birthday, and they are able to get full control of the ship. Shortly after this, however, Bronya loses control of herself, possibly because of the Honkai going to her chip, but she starts going into an attack mode and turns on her friends. After a small fight, she's stopped and snaps out of it. After communications are brought back, Bronya quickly requests to be given a full physical exam, obviously worried about her condition, and they head back to the school. This is the point where Chapter 1 ends, and we start heading into Chapter 2. It's a bit of a short chapter because it was filled with lots of your typical gaming tutorials. However, it does teach you a few interesting things, specifically the gems, Bronya's vulnerability as a cyborg, and about May being able to slightly control her Herrscher powers, but not very well. Next time, we're going to be going to class. The girls are going to school, an exam is coming up, and we're going to dig a little bit into Kiana's past. I hope you guys enjoy the series. I'm going to do my best to keep up with everything in Honkai, and to cover as much of the lore as I can. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask below in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!